Mike Gallagher.
This portion of our show is sponsored by Americans for Prosperity. I read a piece by Dean Clancy, who's the senior policy fellow in healthcare at AFP, about how Obamacare is not the reason for the shutdown, despite the headlines. Hey, Dean, it's great having you on the Mike Gallagher Show. We appreciate the work you're doing at AFP, and thank you for providing some clarity, because that's what we're hearing from the Democrats, from the legacy media. They're saying, look, the shutdown, it's all about Obamacare, and they want to take away your Obamacare. President Trump addressed it last night on 60 Minutes on his interview. Can you dive into why the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, is part and parcel of this debate about this lengthy shutdown?
Yeah, absolutely. The Democrats have shut down the government, they claim, because on January 1st, a bunch of extra subsidies for Obamacare that were instituted during the pandemic are going to expire, and they claim that's going to lead to a health insurance premium apocalypse. Premiums will double, millions will lose coverage, it's going to be disaster. And the fact is, they know that that deadline is going to come. They themselves created this extra money as temporary, and we're just going to go back to where Obamacare was 5 years ago. So it's not the end of the world, but Democrats are acting like it is. In doing that, they're implicitly admitting that Obamacare has failed. It was actually starting to collapse in 2020 when the pandemic came in and gave them an excuse to basically double the amount of money taxpayers are on the hook for. It doubled the number of people enrolled in Obamacare, and they had a policy of trying to get everybody possible onto the rolls, even people who don't exist, fake Social Security numbers. A huge fraud was going on. And all of that's going to come to an end on January 1st when we just go back to the Obamacare of 5 years ago. Democrats are scared about that. Of course, they'll still call it an apocalypse. They'll still run on it in 2026. I'm very proud of Republicans for seeing through that kind of scare talk and saying, look, we're willing to talk about reforming healthcare, but not when you've taken the whole government hostage. Reopen the government first, then let's talk about reforming healthcare and getting prices down.
I appreciate what you wrote about the issue of health care and how it's an issue where voters tend to trust Democrats more than Republicans. Why is that, Dean? Why do you suppose so many sort of gullible Americans think the Democrats have it all figured out when it comes to health care?
Well, at Americans for Prosperity, we do a lot of polling and focus groups. We try to take the temperature of the American people. We stand on front doors and ask people, and we found two big things. First of all, Americans care very much about the high cost of health care. It's usually on the top five issues that voters identify sort of without being prompted. And the other thing is that they do trust Democrats more on health care. And it's kind of ironic. I think the reason is because Democrats tend to talk about health care a lot. Republicans are much more kind of gun shy on the issue. And Democrats' solutions often sound really good. Medicare for all, free health care at the point of service. We'll cut out the overhead and the insurance company profits, and it'll just be great. But you look under the hood and you realize, no, these policies don't work. They've been tried all over the world. People stand in line. People die waiting in line. People can't get basic health care. In England, people have to pull their own teeth. Socialized medicine doesn't work, but it's appealing to voters. So this is the challenge for Republicans, is to come up with a more positive vision that can counter those very seemingly appealing Democratic ideas.
The clarity that Americans for Prosperity is providing on this is so crucial. You write that Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are proposing that in exchange for Democrats agreeing to reopen the government, Republicans must agree to a total of $1.5 trillion in additional health care spending, including $900 billion to repeal Trump's Medicaid reforms and provide free health care to undocumented immigrants. Now, that's not a serious offer. And Dean, what I hate about this whole debate, it's not even in good faith. They know it's not a serious a proposition.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think they've made an outrageous demand knowing that Trump and the Republicans are never going to agree to that. They're never going to agree to free health care for illegal immigrants. They're never going to agree to go back to Medicaid, wasting hundreds of billions of dollars a year. And they're not going to agree to just continuing failed Obamacare subsidies from the pandemic that have led to all kinds of enrollment fraud and waste. It's not a serious offer because I think at the end of the day, the Democrats shut down the government for political reasons rather than policy reasons.
My theory is once the election is over tomorrow, we're going to see a whole lot of negotiating going on and voting on a clean continuing resolution. Look, everybody needs to get involved. Go to makegovernmentwork.com right now. Great initiative from the Americans for Prosperity, and they're doing fine work on this. Don't be on the sidelines. Get engaged. Makegovernmentwork.com. Go to makegovernmentwork.com. Dean Clancy, we appreciate you. Keep fighting the good fight, sir.